Hey guys, I'm back with another Helluverse themed video. I just want to give a huge thanks to anyone who submitted any hot takes. I didn't expect so many. We got at least 20, which is awesome, and I'm so excited to share my opinions on them. But before we start, big shout out to this one. It made me laugh a lot. But anyways, this video is going to be a long one, and I don't want to waste any more time, so let's get into it. The first one is, the cherubs need to be written out of the show. They add pretty much nothing narratively and are annoying when they talk. This one I agree with. Absolutely no shade to their voice actors, but I cannot stand their voices. Real I'm Galaxy original gangbangers, remember when I said that this deer's voice was annoying and I didn't know she was actually voiced by Pop, and then people told me she was, and then I felt really bad because I called her voice annoying. And I'm also just really big dum-dum because their voices are supposed to be annoying, and I guess 17-year-old me didn't get the hint, but whatever, I'm a changed man now. The only thing I liked about the cherubs is the fact that they were trying to save people from dying, specifically the man from offing himself. It's a nice gesture, and I don't know, it just kind of hit close to home since suicide is a really touchy subject for me, as it is for a lot of people. But I'm probably thinking way too deep about it, so I apologize, but I agree, I didn't really like them much at all. I feel like it would have been better if we had characters trying to save people that weren't as annoying. The way the characters in the show treat Stolitz as some kind of taboo or embarrassment because of the class disparity is confusing when Fizz and Ozzy and B and Vortex aren't treated as a big deal. It simultaneously undermines a lot of the stakes in Stolitz's ship and makes Fizz and Ozzy and B and Vortex seem lazy and poorly written. You know what's funny is I'm really fucking stupid because I didn't even pick up on that myself. That never crossed my mind, so good on you for noticing that. So I can't really dog on the writers for not noticing it either since I myself didn't notice it, but you're right, you have a point about it. I can't believe no one in the studio picked up on it before. I mean, to be honest, I don't really care about the B and Vortex ship. Like, as characters by themselves, they're fine, I guess, but I feel like they haven't gotten enough screen time to be considered well written. Stella's character was ruined after season 2 in my opinion. The first time you see her in season 1, she had so much more dimension and it's easier to empathize with her since her husband cheated on her. But after season 2, the episodes just made it seem like she was being the worst for no reason at all, and it made her super one-dimensional. This I absolutely agree with. Real ones know that I already made a video on Stella. It didn't really get that much traction, and I did private the video because I realized that some of the things I said in it were unintentionally shitty. But one of the things that I said in that video that I still do stand by to this day is that it's so obvious that Stella is just meant to serve as a character who's mean to Stolas to make the audience feel bad for him. And I am not a Stella defender. I don't really like Stella or Stolas, but yeah, it's so obvious what her purpose is in the show, and I do agree that there was so much wasted potential with her. It's kind of cringy to say Hazbin is female-focused to avoid criticism of female characters in Helluva Boss, when the male characters in Hazbin are arguably still more developed than the woman. I'm kind of split on this, to be honest. I definitely thought that some of the characters were well developed and had interesting stories, like Vaggie, for example, but she didn't really develop. I mean, she more or less stays the same throughout the entire show. Don't get me wrong, she's still awesome. Vaggie slander will not be tolerated. Support for Vaggie video coming soon. But yeah, even though I do like Vaggie's conflict in writing, she didn't really change much throughout the show. Like, you can kind of say the same for pretty much every other Hazbin Hotel character. I guess you could say Charlie becomes more confident and Angel kind of changes, but only because he got called out and he still never apologized for it, so I consider his development to be rushed. So I still don't think that any character, man or woman, had like any drastic character changes. These next two are quite similar, so I'll put them in one spot. Helluva Boss should go back or at least focus a bit more on Moxie, Millie, and Blitz assassinating people. I love those episodes and it gave a great dynamic between them. And Helluva Boss should go back to its original premise, which is imp assassins targeting humans. Those who say it shouldn't and think a show with one premise will make it boring is dumb. And both of these I heavily agree with. That's the reason I liked the show in the first place. I love the fight scenes, the high energy chases, and all that. The show is wild, but that's what made it so fun. If there was a bad joke said, it wouldn't matter as much because the show itself was just so fast-paced that you'll likely just forget about it. I've mentioned this before, but I don't like how the show is literally just a gay drama now. I mean, if you want to have it as a side plot, it's fine, I guess, but this wasn't supposed to be the point of Helluva Boss. So I really don't like what the show is turning into. I just feel like they're wasting a lot of potential. These next two are also quite similar, so I'm putting them together. Every character in Helluva Boss has at least one big emotional moment where they deal with their bad past or trait. Every character except for Millie. Octavia is a minor character, and she even gets more strong moments than Millie, someone in the main cast. And I absolutely hate the fact that some of Millie's development was shoved into a short, which counts as side material, which by the way shouldn't be used for character development. The only moment we had of her and her sister before was Millie being pissed, and all of a sudden I am supposed to care about their relationship because there's a forced conflict that wasn't foreshadowed in the festival episode. Just like Unhappy Campers, Viv throws in a conflict out of nowhere so she can claim she does stuff for Millie. I'm sure she would have time time to develop Millie in a good way if this show didn't become the Blitz and Stola show. Both of these I absolutely agree with. A Millie dedicated episode is long overdue. I think Millie is one of the only characters in Helluva Boss, well, main characters, that we don't really see do anything wrong. I mean, I'm not saying that she's a perfect person or anything, and I could be completely wrong about this, but I've had to rewatch this show several times since I have to take notes and make videos on it. But I don't remember any moment of Millie doing something bad. I mean, like, obviously the assassinating part doesn't count, but anything else, I don't remember her doing anything bad. Like, you know, Blitz treats Moxie like shit, Luna treats everyone else like shit, like, and I do really like her as a character. I'd love to see more of her. I can't believe we haven't gotten a proper backstory for Millie yet. She deserves some spotlight. I'm tired of it just being focused on these two. It's getting so annoying and old. Dude, a year into the future and Millie still doesn't have a dedicated episode. And I totally agree with you, shorts should not be used for character development. It just seems so lazy and like you don't really care about developing your characters and you kind of just want it to be like, alright, fine, here. It's giving like a Rocky vibes. Like, this is gonna be a really weird comparison, but it kind of reminds me of when different manga creators were asked to draw art for Nobuhiro Watsuki, I don't know if I said that right, to celebrate the 30-year anniversary of his manga. I don't know if it was required by their studios to draw for him because I can't imagine why anybody would want to willingly associate with this individual. But anyway, you could see how much effort Araki puts into the drawings of the people he likes, but then when he had to make one for Watsuki, he literally put the bare minimum effort in. This drawing just screams, ugh, fine, look, I did it, okay? Are you happy now? Now leave me alone. I know obviously that situation is far more serious, but that's like what Vivzy is doing. Like, she puts her heart and soul into writing every other character, and then when she gets to Millie, she's like, okay, fine, alright? You want Millie development? I'll give you Millie development. 2 minutes short, okay? Now you guys can't complain anymore. And it sucks because I think Millie as a character really has so much potential. We haven't even met all of her siblings yet, and honestly, I just think she's really sweet. I mean, obviously they're in hell, so they're not gonna be angels, but like, as far as I remember, Millie has never like intentionally treated anybody in the IMP crew badly. When she snapped at Moxie in Sinsmith, she immediately apologized. She just seems like an overall nice character, and so I really hope that she does get some development because it really isn't fair to her. The pilot is better than the show in some aspects. Rewatching the pilot, I had more fun with it than I did with the actual show. Stolas' voice is just so much better in the pilot, in my opinion. I agree with that a little bit. I mean, I don't think the pilot is better than the entire show. I mean, actually, to be fair, the pilot, although it has its flaws, it is better than a lot of the episodes in the show. I thought it was a pretty solid introduction to the series, ignoring the gross phone call scene and the overuse of cursing. To be honest, I don't really know what to feel about Stolas' voice. I don't feel too strongly about his pilot voice, and I don't really feel any specific way about his new voice either. I do like his singing voice though, or rather, Bryce's singing voice. I think the reason why Stolas' voice sounded so different in the pilot was because he was meant to be a villain, and yes, he definitely should have been. Helluva makes too much use of sex jokes, and haha, erections / dicks are funny. No, it's not. Sometimes maybe yeah, but not at this point anymore. It has become way too much. I think you're speaking for most of the fandom right now. I think sex jokes can work if they're done right. I feel like sometimes less is more. Helluva definitely focuses too much on shock value humor. I feel that their jokes where they don't try as hard are actually funnier than the ones that they go over the top with.
I'm tied on the back of a horse at the moment.
Lucky bitch.
These jokes are quick, comical, and genuinely funny, at least in my opinion. Also, serious topics, mainly SA, are treated horribly. Like, episode with Angel was okay, I guess. I am a victim of SA and it didn't really bother me that much, but I hated how sometimes it's treated like a joke. Example, Serpentris in the club and Moxie with the succubus in the Spring Broken episode. First of all, let me start off by saying that I'm so sorry you went through SA. I know me saying sorry doesn't change anything, but still, I'm genuinely sorry. There is a very special place in hell for people who do those things. I kind of feel the same way about Angel's episode. It was really disturbing, and as much as I don't like Angel, I still felt bad for him. He doesn't deserve that. Nobody deserves that. And as for the show not taking SA as seriously as it should, I hate the double standards. Like you said, when Verosika and her group SA Moxie, and when Serpentris is dragged in the club, it's played off as a joke. Even when Angel sexually harasses Husk and makes him uncomfortable, it's supposed to be funny. But then when you get to episode 4, the show is like, yeah, well now Angel is getting SA'd, so this is a very serious topic. It's really disrespectful. So my dumbass accidentally deleted the screenshot by accident, and I can't find it anywhere, but someone did comment this. You're just gonna have to take my word for it. I really don't like the whole Ozzy and Fizz or Vortex and B thing because the power imbalance to me is very, very apparent and kind of odd and kind of uncomfortable. It's my opinion. If it gets addressed in later eps, then cool, I guess, but the case with Fizz and Ozzy especially is kind of weird because in the episode Oops, their relationship screams, yes, I coddle my disabled lover, and it's really distasteful in my opinion. There's a lot of mixed signals with my opinion on Ozzy and Fizz right now. I may need to look deeper, but that's what I'm getting. Thank you for saying this because I absolutely agree. I don't want to come off as just a hater because I feel like I've bashed every single ship in this show. And as I mentioned before with B and Vortex, I don't really have too strong of an opinion on them. But with Fizz and Ozzy, look, I really wanted to like them. It's obvious that these two care about each other, but some things that happen between them make me uncomfortable. And this is coming from somebody who actually likes Fizz and Ozzy as characters. I just don't like the relationship they have. And about the I coddle my disabled lover part, I could definitely sense that too. Their relationship just screams Ozzy is the big bad dommy boy who will do anything to protect his little subby short bottom bitch partner Fizz.
Stop.
Oh, you know what I'm craving? Burgers!
No, it's too early for burgers, you maniac.
Burger time, burger time, burger time! Come on, Big Daddy, please!
Well, you know I can't say no to a face that cute.
That's why I use it.
Just try to stay out of trouble, Fizzy Frog.
It's just, Ozzy talks to Fizz as if he's a child, and it's just really uncomfortable. There are so many moments of Fizz acting childish, and it just gives me a lot of secondhand embarrassment and uncomfortable feelings. Future me here. I'm sure most of you know that I already did a video on why I don't like these two as a ship, and while I still do have those same feelings, I feel like that video was just kind of cringy, but I also want to keep it up because it has a lot of views and it makes me feel good about myself. Something I will say though is the fact that realistically, if Fizz feels comfortable enough to act this way around Ozzy, good for them. I just wish we didn't have to see it because in my opinion, like, I personally think it's weird. What people do behind closed doors is none of my business, as long as it's not like illegal, of course, but this still just rubs me the wrong way. I'm not saying once you're an adult you can't be childish at all, but this is just like a little much. It feels very patronizing in my opinion. I might have to remake that Fizz and Ozzy video, but then I would have to say goodbye to all of my views because it wouldn't make sense for me to have like 2 videos of basically the same thing on my channel. That's a topic for another time though. For the rest of these, except for the 2 at the end, I also accidentally deleted the screenshots of the comments like an idiot, so all I have is the copy and pasted version from my notes app. Husker Dust is an awful Hazbin ship. I see the 2 as a mentor teaching the younger generation type thing. The constant sexual harassment Angel does with Husk isn't cute or funny, and I don't know how people can love these 2 as a couple. So I have so much to say on this topic, but I'll try to keep it as short as I can. It pisses me off how Angel treats Husk like he's nothing more than a sex toy, even though Husk is obviously not interested in Angel and is uncomfortable by his remarks, and the fandom sees it as cute. But then, oh shit, oh no, when this motherfucker treats Angel like a sex toy, everyone's like, no, Val is such a horrible person. These fucking double standards piss me off. And like I said before, I think that Angel needs to apologize before these 2 can even have a real friendship. And oh boy, he's bringing out the gender argument again. But if Husk was a girl and Angel was a straight man, everyone who's shipping them now would call Angel a bad person. You cannot tell me I'm wrong. Also, something to point out, Angel is meant to be in his 30s and Husk is supposed to be in his 70s. That's the ages they died at least. And look, I mean, they're both adults, so it's not illegal. I just think it's a little odd. Personally, I think anything over like a 15 to 20 year age gap is weird. So I definitely agree with you about the older mentor teaching the younger generation type of thing. For those who are new here, or just for those of you who don't know, I already made a video on Angel and Husker Dust and why I don't like either of them. So if you want to hear me go more in depth on those 2 topics, then you can check out this video instead. Charlie needs a backbone, and she needs to use her title as Princess of Hell a little more so she can properly intimidate who she deems as a threat to her friends or herself. She really feels like a doormat half of the time, which sucks because I like Charlie. I love characters willing to go through thick and thin for people who she believes can get a second chance, but she needs to know it's okay to put her foot down. I agree with this as well. I also really love Charlie. She's one of my favorite Hazbin Hotel characters. She's probably in 2nd or 3rd. I just think she's such a kind-hearted person who truly tries to see the best in people. Charlie is just very emotional, which isn't a bad thing except for the fact that it makes people realize her kindness and, like you said, use her as a doormat. When we eventually get to see season 2 of Hazbin Hotel in 2047, I'd love to see her change into a less passive person and become more confident and stern. Verosika is one of the most interesting characters I've seen in the series, but she's still tossed aside, especially in Apology Tour, just for a Stolet storyline, which frustrates me immensely. Verosika had a lot more potential, and I would have actually liked her if it weren't for what she did to Moxie in the 3rd episode. I did like the talk she had with Blitz, but again, it's just very hard for me to like her now because of what she did to Moxie. I did like that they brought her back because we haven't seen her in a while, but yeah, I also agree it wasn't in the best way. A lot of the Sin's designs are weak. Lucifer's is boring and feels like everyone else's design could benefit off of a darker color palette, to be honest. Ozzy's could be fine, but you cannot tell me he's a rooster. Bee's is fun, but not animation friendly at all and has way too much happening. I don't mind if Viv wants to make her a fennec fox, but try giving her some more bee elements while not overdoing the colors. Mammon I'm also okay with, but maybe more apparent spider looks like visible abdomen or extra eyes. I quite like Lucifer's design actually. I understand what you mean about giving him a darker color palette since his name is literally Lucifer, but I think his outfit is mostly white to symbolize that he really doesn't belong in hell as he's a pure and good person. I actually really love Ozzy's design. I think his body looks a little weird, but everything else is awesome. I love the colors. I also had no idea he was supposed to be a rooster at first. I thought he was just supposed to be like some cool looking ghost. So yeah, I love his design. I love his head. It reminds me of Haunter or Gengar. And I also like the little ghost things he has in his hair? I don't know if that's hair, but they look awesome as well. As for Bee, I actually love her design and how crazy it is. Her head, hair, and tail all look amazing, and I really like her undershirt. The fact that it's like moving is incredible. I also absolutely love the honey flowing from her mane and tail. I think it looks absolutely amazing animated like this, but at the same time it does look a little out of place compared to her other colors. Season 2 ruined Striker. Shout out to this person for being the first comment. I definitely agree with this. Striker had so much charm and was a total badass in episode 4, and after that he just completely changed. His personality now is a lot more aggressive, when before he still had that hostility, but he was a lot more composed and cool with it, if that makes sense. Like, compare these two scenes, then you'll see what I mean.
You know, the two of us are superior than most of our kind. And you were so above sucking on a disgusting, rich, pompous Goetia, only to sneak topside for scraps and work for bitter sinners who could care less who you are, when you could be slaying overlords. Why struggle to run a business that is rigged against you, when you could partner up with me and kill the unkillable? Starting with the one that treats you like a plaything.
What can I say, okay? I like cocky men.
Oh yeah? Oh yeah? Hear that? Even she thinks it's cool.
Real funny! Now will you drop it? Now will you drop it already, you dick?
Fictional cocky men. I'm not gay. I know I sound gay, but I'm not. Like, compare that to this scene where he's just a lot louder and more aggressive, and it just gets rid of the mysterious and charming personality he had that made him so interesting. I think a villain is really cool when they're able to stay composed under pressure, and this episode kind of ruins it. Like, he just feels like a completely different character.
You think I'm just gonna let you get away after all this? I'm through losing these fights! This worthless little pet reeks of his overbloated master. I'll at least enjoy getting rid of him.
I did also prefer his old voice, but that's not the new voice actor's fault. Also, not to be a liberal snowflake, but like, I got so upset when Fizz said this.
Okay, is it bad that I'm getting hard?
Like, if him and Ozzy aren't in an open relationship, why are you admitting this? Like, that's not, like, isn't that kind of fucked up, or am I just overthinking it? But anyway, that's all for today. Sorry that this video was kind of lazy. I mean, it took me almost 3 hours to edit. I just feel kind of bad that I'm basically just recycling an old video instead of making a brand new one. I'm just kind of on a time crunch right now. As you guys know, conventions are coming up. That's the way it is around this time of year. I'm trying my best to manage my time, and I'm gonna be so for real. I got burnt out for making videos, but honestly, this one was kind of fun. I'm honestly just glad I can post at least something to hold you guys over. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I don't know when I'll see you again, but it'll hopefully be soon. Okay, bye and stuff.